Astute Quotations, Part 3. In critical moments, even the most powerful have need of the weakest. Aesop. As craftsmen say, even the largest stones need smaller ones to support them. Plato. The entertainment industry's best ever pool player, which is hardly surprising in view of his fantastic coordination, was Fred Astaire. Ned Polsky, from his book Hustlers, Beats, and Others, 1998. In shooting with a young sportsman or a stranger, always allow him to precede you in getting over the fences. It may be that you save your life or a limb. From Deadshot Magazine, 1861. A sly rabbit will have 3 openings to its den. Chinese proverb. The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. Marcel Proust. The windows need washing. Haiti Wyatt Caraway, first elected female U.S. Senator, on arriving at the Capitol in 1931. Through years of experience, I have found that air offers less resistance than dirt. Jack Nicklaus on why he tees his golf balls high. The uglier a man's legs are, the better he plays golf. It's almost a law. H.G. Wells. Golf is a game whose aim is to hit a very small ball into an even smaller hole with weapons singularly ill-designed for the purpose. Winston Churchill. Outdoor pool sharks. Jim Murray, Los Angeles Times, regarding pro golfers who are out of shape. Plato was a bore. Nietzsche. Nietzsche was stupid and abnormal. Tolstoy. The only normal people are the ones you don't know very well. Alfred Adler, psychotherapist. A friend gave me seats to the World Series. From where I sat, the game was just a rumor. Henny Youngman. Treatment consists of stimulating the dormant vital energy in the patient and restoring its circulation to normal. Ryokyo Endo, from his book Dao Shiatsu, 1995. In every culture and in every medical tradition before ours, healing was accomplished by moving energy. Physiologist Albert Szent-Györgyi, Nobel Prize winner, 1937. Turn yourself into a material as soft as putty and then just sort of slop the club head through. You'll hit much further and with less effort. Johnny Miller, Golf Hall of Famer and TV analyst. Stress, in addition to being itself and the result of itself, is also the cause of itself. Hans Selye, professor of surgery, University of Montreal. I'm going cheap. Depeche Mode from Behind the Wheel. When a magician lets you notice something on your own, his lie becomes impenetrable. Teller, the magician. The behavior of an isolated part is, in general, different from its behavior within the context of the whole. Ludwig von Bertalanffy, developer of general systems theory. How can a part know the whole? Blaise Pascal, mathematician. It is not so much that the cells make the plant, it is rather that the plant makes the cells. Heinrich Anton de Bury, botanist, physician, 1831 to 1888. Not a sentence or a word is independent of the circumstances under which it is uttered. Alfred North Whitehead. Constant rhythmical movement is necessary to health and harmony. Much ill health is due to emotional congestion. Emmett Fox, 1886-1951. I am not optimistic or pessimistic. I feel that optimism and pessimism are very unbalanced. I am a very hard engineer. I am a mechanic. I am a sailor. I am an air pilot. I don't tell people I can get you across the ocean with my ship unless I know what I'm talking about. Buckminster Fuller. The place where optimism most flourishes is the lunatic asylum. Havelock Ellis. Optimism and stupidity are nearly synonymous. Navy Admiral Hyman Rickover. The gods love the sober-minded. Sophocles, whose work was on a par with Aristophanes, Euripides, and Testicles. There is a good example, or should I say, there is a good example of testicle fortitude. Pitcher Dizzy Dean regarding a daring outfield catch. Protecting underperformers always backfires. Jack Welch, former chairman of General Electric. I never looked at the consequences of missing a big shot. When you think about the consequences, you always think of a negative result. Michael Jordan, Chicago Bulls. I never visualized the possibility of anyone getting me out. Sir Don Bradman, Australian cricketer. My philosophy is never start talking about if and but or the past, because 90% of what follows will be negative. Hockey Hall of Famer Gordie Howe. Talk of the wolf and his tail appears. Dutch proverb. On the course, what is feared is like a magnet. Water, bunkers, trees, ravines, high grass, whatever you fear turns magnetic. Pro golfer Margaret Whiffy Smith. One day out on the links, Yogi Berra predicted his golf ball would land in the water. A friend said, "Don't be like that. Think positively." Yogi replied, "Okay, I'm positive my shot is going into the water." To drive a racing car, you must be conservative. You cannot be a radical, someone who's given to spontaneity or enthusiasms. Jackie Stewart. To win a race in the slowest possible time. Australian auto racer Sir Jack Brabham. When I look slow, I am smooth and going fast. Alan Prost, Formula One chap. The really good drivers win races in the slowest times, not the quickest. Alan Jones, Formula One champ, from Melbourne. Why are you stingy with yourselves? Why are you holding back? George Balanchine, father of American ballet, born in St. Petersburg. We are oscillatory beings in an oscillatory universe. Linearity leads to dysfunction and death. Jim Lair and Tony Schwartz from the book The Power of Full Engagement, 2003. Fixation is the way to death. Fluidity is the way to life. Swordmaster Miyamoto Musashi, 1584-1645. Life, God, in its essence, is vibration. American psychic Edgar Cayce. The eternal is omni-embracing and permeative. The temporal is linear. Buckminster Fuller. The problem with assumptions is that we believe they are the truth. Don Miguel Ruiz, author of The Four Agreements. There are no straight lines in nature. Buckminster Fuller. Hence, no force, however great, can stretch a cord, however fine, into a horizontal line which is accurately straight. There will always be bending downwards. William Whewell, Elementary Treatise on Mechanics, 1819. You can't do nothing without good footwork. Peter Westbrook, Olympic fencer. People pay so much attention to hitting the ball when movement, including footwork, is really the key. Tennis great Martina Navratilova. This is the mark of a really admirable man. Steadfastness in the face of trouble. Beethoven. The real test of a bridge player isn't in keeping out of trouble, but in escaping once he's in. Alfred Scheinwald, syndicated bridge columnist. Problems are the price of progress. Don't bring me anything but trouble. Good news weakens me. Inventor Charles Kettering. I can't tell who's leading. It's either Oxford or Cambridge. John Snagg, calling the Oxford-Cambridge boat race in 1949. In my sport, the quick are too often listed among the dead. Jackie Stewart, Formula One racer. He who goes oftenest round the Cape Horn goes the most circumspectly. Herman Melville. Do not always be thinking of attack. Moves that safeguard your position are often far more prudent. Chess grandmaster Aram Nimzowitsch. I could have pushed hard and attacked, but then I'd have a good chance of making a mistake. Alan Prost, Formula One chap. Angels never attack, as infernal spirits do. Angels only ward off and defend. Emanuel Swedenborg, a mystic from 1688 to 1772. In my personal opinion, mystics get the closest glimpse to the true nature of reality of any person on this planet. It's not the size of the bat that gets home runs. It's the speed with which you can swing it. Stan Musial, St. Louis Cardinals. If this stone won't budge at present and is wedged in, move some of the other stones around it. Ludwig Wittgenstein. Where you think the pain is, the problem is not. Ida Rolf. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Animal House. The easiest solutions are often tried last. Heard on the street. It is the mark of a good action that it appears inevitable in retrospect. Robert Louis Stevenson. When I have finished, if the solution is not beautiful, I know it is wrong. Buckminster Fuller. A genuine smile usually means a genuine hand. A forced smile is a bluff. Poker champ and author Mike Carroll. Behind the smile, there's a hidden knife. Chinese proverb. The more hidden the venom, the more dangerous it is. Margaret de Valois, Queen of France, 1553-1615. Margaret, I apologize if I didn't pronounce your name correctly. To the tennis court, and there saw the king play at tennis. But to see how the king's play was extolled without any cause at all was a loathsome sight. Diary entry of Samuel Pepys, 1664. One should always play fairly when one has the winning cards. Oscar Wilde. In the pelvis lies the key to our well-being. Bodywork educator Ida Rolfe. I went to a massage parlor. It was self-service. Rodney Dangerfield. You don't need a lot of speed to be a good base runner. Former Yankee David Cone. Speed slows down the game. Catcher, announcer Tim McCarver. Speed is a great asset, but it's greater when it's combined with quickness, and there's a big difference. Ty Cobb, Detroit Tigers. Speed is often confused with insight. When I start running earlier than the others, I appear faster. Johan Cruyff, Dutch football great. I wasn't really quick and I wasn't really strong, so I beat them with my mind and my fundamentals. Basketball Hall of Famer Larry Bird. No, he just got there in time. Yogi Berra, when asked whether Joe DiMaggio was fast. You don't carry in your countenance a letter of recommendation. Charles Dickens, Barnaby Rudge. When asked what single event was most helpful in developing his theory of relativity, Einstein replied, figuring out how to think about the problem. Management consultant W. Edwards Deming. When the fact doesn't meet the theory, then let go of the theory. Agatha Christie. It is amazing how much theory we can do without when work actually begins. E.F. Schumacher, author of Small is Beautiful. Trying is only emphasizing the thing we know. Movement educator F.M. Alexander. Self-taught mechanics are so superior to institute-trained men who have learned how to handle everything except a new situation. Robert Pirsig, from Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. If one knows only what one is told, one does not know enough to arrive at a well-balanced decision. Physicist Leo Szilard. The key to a player's longevity in this game is his legs. Rick Reichart of the California Angels in baseball. Death begins in the legs. Saying from India. A woman is as young as her knee. fashion designer Mary Quant. Loose lips sink ships. World War II poster. Loose hips save ships. Heard among kayakers. Definition of the diaphragm. A muscular partition separating disorders of the chest from disorders of the bowels. Ambrose Bierce from his Devil's Dictionary, 1906. Neanderthals can win certain kinds of wars, but they'll lose some they should win if you force them to make enough choices. Bill Parcells, former head coach, New York Giants. Not infrequently, the theoretical is a synonym for the stereotyped, for the theoretical in chess is nothing more than that which can be found in the textbooks and to which players try to conform because they cannot think up anything better or equal, anything original. Mikhail Chigorin, Russian chess master, 1850 to 1908. It's like listening to Pavement. It's just like The Fall was in 1985. They haven't got an original thought in their heads. Mark E. Smith, regarding the third-tier lightweight opportunist rock band called Pavement. And you can say pretty much the same thing for other opportunists like Nirvana and Pearl Jam. I never thought of Green Day as a punk band. Just bubblegum, really. Johnny Rotten. The first person who comes up and asks me for Bon Jovi risks a ritual disemboweling. John Peel. Mediocre men often have the most acquired knowledge. Physiologist Claude Bernard. A lot of guys who have never choked have never been in the position to do so. Golfer Tom Watson. It's good sportsmanship not to pick up lost golf balls while they are still rolling. I regard golf as an expensive way of playing marbles. G.K. Chesterton. I didn't say that last one. The one about still rolling, that was by Mark Twain. The abdomen is the reason why man does not readily take himself to be a god. Nietzsche. A boundary is not that at which something stops, but that from which something begins. Martin Heidegger. Anyone who lets themselves get fat and out of shape is immature in some way. Jack LaLanne, fitness pioneer from the golden age of television. The preservation of health is a duty. Few seem conscious that there is such a thing as physical morality. Herbert Spencer. You should cut down on your pork life, mate. Get some exercise. Blur from Park Life. Blur, by the way, was the greatest band of the 90s. Nirvana was around number 169,334 and still sinking as we count. I hold that the parentheses are the most important parts of a non-business letter. D.H. Lawrence. When I played pool, I was like a good psychiatrist. I cured them of all their daydreams and delusions. Minnesota Fats. Neuroscientists are novices at deception. Teller, the magician. The art of badminton is to deceive. Sir George Thomas, International Badminton Federation. All warfare is based on deception. Sun Tzu from The Art of War. Who makes the fairest show means the most deceit. Pericles from the 4th century BC. We are all children of gravity. Sagging skin and organs, varicose veins, arthritis, failing hearts, these all come from the lost battle against gravity. Ralph Pelligra, Director of Medical Research for NASA. It is the care we bestow upon apparently trifling, unattractive detail and very troublesome minutiae which determines the result. Pathologist Theobald Smith. I was never able to pronounce the name Theobald. The statistical method gives only mediocre results. Psychologist Alfred Binet. A handful of patience is worth more than a bushel of brains. Dutch proverb. Lying in wait is the secret of success in poker. Richard Proctor, English astronomer. The most patient man in loss, the most coldest that ever turned up ace. Shakespeare from Cymbeline. The sophomores are good, but they haven't learned the humility of crew yet. John Bigelow, Olympic rower. The object of a bunker or a trap is not only to punish a physical mistake, to punish lack of control, but also to punish pride and egotism. Charles MacDonald, pioneer golf course architect. Equilibrium, or equilibrium, whichever you prefer, is the profoundest tendency of all human activity. Psychologist Jean Piaget. There exists everywhere a medium in things determined by equilibrium. Dmitri Mendeleev, the father of the periodic table of the elements. I saw in a dream a table where all elements fell into place as required. Awakening, I immediately wrote it down on a piece of paper. Only in one place did a correction later seem necessary. Mendeleev. Male players must not only retain equanimity on their side of the net, but create dissension on the other. Art Hoppe, San Francisco Chronicle, on tennis mixed doubles. Pitching is the art of instilling fear by making a man flinch. Sandy Koufax, Los Angeles Dodgers. Control. You must learn control. Yoda. You can be as wise as Solomon with the most iron character and still lose control. Dostoevsky. Control the movement. Concentrate on the form. From the exercise series, The Firm. I'm on a submarine mission for you, baby. The Sex Pistols from Submission. Pull gently at a weak rope. Dutch proverb. The muscles of the spiritual athlete pant for such exertion, and without it, they would dwindle into trepid imbecility. Martin Farquhar Tupper, English writer, 1810 to 1889. Hurrying and delaying are similar ways of trying to resist the present. Alan Watts. The next time you see a good player stalking backward and forwards on the green, do not be led away by the idea that he is especially painstaking, but rather pity him for a nervous individual who is putting off the evil moment as long as he possibly can. Ted Ray, 1887 to 1943, winner of 2 majors. Most men are in a coma when they are at rest, and mad when they act. Epicurus, 3rd century BC, or Epicurus if you prefer. One universal feature is to be found in the games of all great players. They never seem to be hurried. Tennis great Bill Tilden. This completes Astute Quotations Part 3.